So our country has become so divided that we actually have to have two separate Super Bowl halftime shows now just to appease people who are afraid of diversity and multiculturalism in our country. I can't believe I'm even saying that, and it's like shocking to me that we've even gotten to this point. Hello, my name is Brian Kennedy. I'm the mayor of Glendale, Wisconsin, president of Democratic Municipal Officials, and a member of the DNC. Follow me for local government and Democratic Party content. So last night, I watched the traditional Super Bowl. I watched the pregame where I was super excited to see Green Day, a band that I loved back in college and continued into grad school and into my early 30s loving Green Day. So I was excited to see them perform before. I thought that Brandi Carlile did a fantastic job with America the Beautiful. Charlie Puth did a wonderful job with the national anthem. And then I felt that the halftime show itself, with Bad Bunny, Lady Gaga, and Ricky Martin, was also really a portrait of the entire Western Hemisphere. More than just America, it showed the influence of our country throughout the entire Western Hemisphere. And all of those Spanish-speaking countries that Bad Bunny talked about toward the end. There are people that live here in the United States who came from those countries. You know, my family immigrated here 100 years ago, fleeing Mussolini. My maternal grandparents came from Italy. And in that time period, Italy, as well as Eastern Europe, those were, to coin Trump's terms, the shithole countries of the time. Those were the people that the waspy white people didn't really want to come here because they weren't like them, right? They weren't, Protestants who were super white from Northern Europe. They were more olive complected and they spoke different languages and they were Catholic and they came from places like Eastern Europe and Southern Europe. And they were the people who weren't desirable at the time period. But my family eventually became a part of that melting pot of America, as have generations of Americans for hundreds of years. We've become part of a melting pot. But we have reached a point, particularly because of this president and his grievance politics, and a party that was so outraged at the election of a black man 18 years ago to be our president, that they just cannot get over the fact that this country has become diverse and has started to elect people who aren't middle-aged or older white men. And last night, we saw the perfect picture of what that grievance politics eventually becomes. It becomes a separate halftime show. A halftime show that I did go and watch about 10 minutes of today on YouTube. And I have to tell you, as a white guy, I was offended at how mediocre and bad it was. Like, I watched this incredible performance pre-game and during the halftime last night of the NFL, and I was proud to be an American to look at what our country can accomplish, the people that we can produce. And then I watched, these performers, Kid Rock especially. I saw a meme, and I'm gonna steal this from somebody, but he looks like the guy who has tattoos of his kids' names, but doesn't pay his child support and doesn't have custody of them. Like, he just has that dirt beat dad kind of look about him, and that's who they want to hold up and exemplify as somebody who represents white America and who is a proud American. I was very underwhelmed by the 10 minutes or so. I couldn't even finish it. It was so bad. Because the contrast between high-level, high-energy performance last night and then the performance today that I watched today of the alternative show was just so striking. But we've gotten to this point because we now have whites who are still a majority of the country, but that majority is shrinking, and in probably another 10 or 15 years, whites will be the largest plurality in the country, but they won't be the majority anymore. And I'm okay with that because I have neighbors from all different walks of life, and we all get along great. We have a wonderful neighborhood. We hold neighborhood block parties, and we respect and care for each other. Hell, I've got neighbors with keys to my house, and I've got keys to theirs. If something happens and one of us is out of town, we're calling a neighbor to go check on something in our homes. That's the kind of country that the United States used to be. That's the kind of country that I believe most of us still embrace. It's just this MAGA element that is so fearful of everything that doesn't look like or sound like or feel comfortable to them that they just can't handle difference. I think diversity is our strength. And last night, the official halftime show actually demonstrated just how beautiful that diversity can be, as opposed to the white fragility that we saw that was exercised at the MAGA Turning Points USA halftime show. Have a good day, everybody.